Welcome back to Big Board. Okay, I thought it might be fun. Well, I don't know if it would be fun, but I thought it might be worthwhile to check in on the killing ground. And I just had a hankering to try and play something that from an operation that had occurred around the early mid-July timeframe. And after looking at a bunch of Kursk battles and things like that, I decided that I really didn't have anything that was going to be playable in the space I had. And I switched to the Western Front and found a scenario for Operation Goodwood, which kicked off July 18th, which just happens to be today's date. Now, I spent the last couple of days getting things set up, rereading the rules, because the last time I played this, I really only did an invasion beach. So I had not really used the support points, operations, or any of that good stuff, the sort of more robust supply rules and the impact of HQs on the game. We've got one here that's flipped over into its op mode, meaning that it's going to be supplied appropriately so that it can recharge its artillery and all the units can fight at full strength and everybody will be in support. So, what's the situation? Well, the situation is, historically, things didn't go so well for the Brits. It was pretty much I don't want to bag on Monty. A lot of folks do. I'm not a huge fan of him either, but this operation and the capturing of Caen was not particularly well run, and this ended up being a particularly expensive offensive. Over the course of time, this final Operation Goodwood ended up with 300 or 400 tanks destroyed for the Allies, for the British and the Canadians, and 3,500 casualties. So very, very high losses here trying to capture Caen, and you've got fillets up here, right? So a tough nut to crack, I guess. But I think there were potentially some issues with the execution and the planning of the operation. I'm just going to look here and see if I can give you a little bit of summary. Oh, so I underrepresented 400 British tanks, 6,500 British and Canadian casualties, but they were successful in capturing this city here, Caen, as the case may be, and the Germans obviously had significant losses as well, and this is one of the battles that actually was the beginning of the end, I guess, breaking the back of the German forces, whittling them away. There were no more reserves to be had, and all that sort of good stuff. So what we're going to be doing over a 9-turn scenario, depending on how far we get, we're not wedded to running all 13 turns unless we absolutely desire to. These guys are stacked here, by the way. I've got elements of 1st Division here, Guards Armor, 6th Guards, 30th Armored Motorized Engineering units, and we've got some artillery and 7th Armored Mechanized chaps and bits and pieces. And we're really looking to, there we go. This is going to be great. On camera, no less. There's some big stacks here in the setup. And we've got 11th Armored snuck and tucked in there. I'm assuming you guys, you probably can't see very well. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. I'm just wary of my camera stand these days. I never seem to have much luck with them, do I? I'm always complaining about them. All right. They're facing off against sort of, some battered forces here. There's parts of 21st Panzer. We've got, like these guys are reduced. That's a strength of 3. That B is upside down. We'll just turn it around so you can see it. Hopefully without demolishing the map. So as you probably may recall, the Victory in the West system uses this variable strength concept. And this unit here is a B-rated unit. because we can see that here it says B, but it's a class or effectiveness of 1. So we pull a chit from the 1 bucket and we put that there. And so it has a strength of 3. And those guys are already reduced. So we're in and like I said, in and around July 18th. We've got some artillery in the background here. We've got all these improved positions with some flak elements added that are independents that I could place wherever I wanted. Once again, another 3 rated unit. Not going to be good for the defenders here, even with these improved positions. Now, these entrenchments here will double the defender, but you know, I couldn't put entrenchments here or here because of the terrain. I could put them there, but not along here. So, you know, it's going to be really tough for the Germans to hold, but I think it's also going to be fairly expensive for the Brits and the Canadians to kind of get stuck in here. What's the goal of the scenario? Pretty straightforward. From a geographic perspective, we are looking to capture all of the city hexes in Caen. Ideally, we'd like to capture Falaise as well. And my intention is to attempt to isolate anything that's in here and try and encircle this set of forces so that we can isolate them, put them out of supply, reduce their effectiveness in combat through that mechanism, and then keep push these guys back to this river line, and then press into this open ground and this road here that leads to this next little river, which I can't really see or pronounce, upside down. But you know, there's some hilltop townships off to the right here before Falaise that we would probably want to push the Germans back to, depending on how much time we have. And if I zoom out a little bit, you'll see the rest of the map. Can I do that very carefully? Nope. I'm going to move the camera then. There's another set of forces here. So we've got 12th Corps has its forces there that would face off against 2nd SS. So pretty tough formation in Bocage. Not excited about the potential combat here. I was going to kick off the operation using my support points to activate the 12th HQ first, but I think this is going to be a really tough slog, and I think it's a bad idea to kick off the fray here. All I want to do here is perhaps try and keep these guys engaged enough so that I can so they can't sneak up here to assist in Caen. So there are some reinforcements, modest reinforcements coming for the Germans. The Allies have got what they got. Basically, they'll get some replacements. That's about it. The victory point schedule is a little tricky with this game. There are a couple of things with the full system that really make it a little bit more of a slog than your standard Victory in the West game. But for VPs, there's a concept of, and it won't really matter in this particular scenario because it's shorter, but you receive points for having mech divisions in hidden reserve. That's only 1 VP, but then you also, for every turn the Allies fail to capture any German-controlled city or town hex, the Germans will receive +2 VPs. They'll receive +2 for each town hex recaptured, +8 for each city hex recaptured after Allied occupation, and then -2 if they don't fulfill their mandated attacks, and -4 for each city hex captured by the Allies during the turn. So that's a little bit of a beatdown. For the Allied victory points, they receive +1 for each city hex they control at the end of every Allied VP check game turn. So let's say if I started out with 2, every turn I'm going to receive 2. Then +1 for each, that won't come into it here. +2 for each game turn after all required Allied units have exited into Brittany. That ain't going to happen in this one either. +2 for German each game turn after all required Allied units have exited into the Loire. That's not going to happen either. So really, this is going to come down to knocking out, capturing city hexes, town hexes, and the control of those. And let me just see if there are VPs for enemy units destroyed. I don't believe there are. Doesn't look like it. Nope. I printed off the VP details here because they were, I took pictures, took 2 pictures and mashed them together because the German VPs are on the other map. So it makes it a little hard to play it when you're doing the single scenario, not the campaign. All right, so that's what's going on. That's what we're going to try and do. As the Germans, you know, ideally, I want to try and free up some of 2nd SS, and send them up this way so that we can, it's 10th SS. But anyway, send some of these guys up to reinforce Khan, stop the breakthrough that's probably going to happen here. You saw the weight of A quality units up here. There's a lot of them, but they are only 3 in effectiveness. So you're not going to. I don't think we're going to get very powerful units. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I haven't really done an analysis of the chits because you have a bucket for the 3 rated, a bucket for the 2 rated, and a bucket for the higher quality 1 rated chits units. So anyway, that's what is about to happen. I've got my points allocated, support points allocated for this core. I'm now going to go through the sequence of play. I've printed out the extended sequence of play. It's very detailed. It runs to, looks like 1.5 pages. So we're gonna stepwise through a couple of activities. I'll come back and report in, take a few pictures, and we'll see what happens. All right, you guys hang in there, roll dice, and we'll go for it from there. Ciao.